That MAGA endorsement is riskier than ever. Let me preface this because I know there's a number of you that are you're hardcore Trump supporters and you're like, there's no risk in a MAGA endorsement. It is a bigger risk than ever and potentially a bigger reward than ever as well. All right. So it's like putting a bet on the Kentucky Derby. All right. So you're going to take that horse. You want to take the front runner, or do you want to take the horse that's got 5-1 out? You're going to take 3-1 journalism, or you're going to be like me and take 5-1 sovereignty, where I'm not picking a 30-1 or a 50-1, but I am not taking the front runner. Right. So my odds are a little riskier, but I also have a bigger payout at the end.
So
if it pays off.
So who do you feel is the sovereignty right now of this race? Is it Robeson or is it Biggs?
Well, that's a good question.
Because you, of course, are an expert at picking.
I'm going to say that Robeson is the sovereignty right now.
Oh, okay.
In the gubernatorial primary right now. But, Joe, you're a degenerate. You know how much the odds can change.
Oh,
all
by the
time.
Second.
It's like somebody walks by the stable and the horse sneezes and they're like, I think that horse has a cold. We're going to drop his odds, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think that can happen. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing right now when it comes to these MAGA endorsements.
Yeah, I mean, look at the I don't want to get too far off field here where we're going. We're going to get back to that in just a second. But look at the new Pope. People were saying that the current Pope, no chance that Pope Leo would become Pope because he was from the U.S. When's the last time we had an American Pope? Doesn't happen.
Right.
But now when we go to pick another Pope, I guarantee you the U.S. Cardinals have shorter odds. They'll be more likely to be picked.
As far as the odds makers go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, odds change all the time.
So what we know about the strength of MAGA today can change.
Oh, yes.
So coming into inauguration, it looked like it was an unstoppable force. Trump was coming in. This guy is steamrolling through everything. He says outlandish stuff, and his popularity goes up. The manosphere was behind him. America was like, this is a guy that is going to carry us to the promised land. He's going to end the war on day one. He's going to bring down the price of Biden's eggs. He's going to fix all of the things that are making us angry at the government. And then he comes in, and here we are 3 months into it, 3.5, and eggs are still expensive, although wholesale prices come down. So egg producers are making money, but we're still paying a lot more. Gas prices. I mean, what did I see today?
So they're down from a year ago, but they're still high.
Still pretty high. I mean, I'm not feeling a lot of relief at the pump. Little bit, but we also know that can fluctuate.
3.25 or so. It's quite a bit.
Yeah. So it's not like we're seeing gas drop down to $2.50 or $2 a gallon, right?
No,
so that's not
yet.
happening. We haven't seen inflation come under control. We saw the first quarter of CPI shrink, consumer price index shrink. So all of a sudden we go, are we on the precipice of a recession? And I think there's a tremendous amount of uncertainty right now that there wasn't on January 21st. And so what we know about the strength of MAGA January 21st is a whole lot different than what we know about MAGA right now, which is why those odds are starting to shift a little bit. And I think for many of us, as we try to predict what might happen in November 2026, we're using today's standards for tomorrow's game. All right. So imagine a sports hero from the 1990s trying to play in today's league. Would Michael Jordan be the great athlete today that he was in the 1980s and 90s?
So I would say Jordan was pretty dang good.
Pretty dang good.
But you look at LeBron, and LeBron is bigger, tougher, stronger, faster than what Jordan was.
And playing longer.
Yeah.
Healthier.
Jordan's still great, no doubt about it.
Sure.
But would have had to change his game and play different because the game's just different now for basketball.
Take a look at a quarterback from the 1970s or 80s.
Terry Bradshaw.
Pick a good quarterback from the 1970s or 80s.
Bradshaw was good.
Bradshaw was all right. Landry.
Okay.
All right. Just take a great quarterback. Dan Marino.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness. Dan Marino. Not as many titles as no titles, but, Terry Bradshaw, Hall of Famer, great. Well, Terry Bradshaw also had more interceptions than he did touchdowns. But how does that compare if you say, all right, well, the new standard is Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, and some of the others?
Marino couldn't run around.
He doesn't compete in today's league. In the same way that the league has changed, Jordan could shoot threes too, which you need in today's league, right? But in the same way that the leagues change, circumstances and times change in politics as well.
All the time.
And this is why we see the parties start to evolve. You may have seen the news yesterday that Trump he's proposing a tax increase on the highest earners in the country.
I did see that.
Unthinkable in Republican circles, and Trump just did it, which means that he's changing the game again, because now you're going to have the Republicans in Congress that are going to have to decide, are we going full loyalty to President Trump, or are we sticking with the ideals of the old establishment Republicans? In other words, are we going to look liberal and support President Trump, or are we going to stick to our guns and maintain the establishment? And it's a very difficult crossroads right now. When it comes to the endorsement of President Trump, it's one of those live by the sword, die by the sword situations. And in that, I was talking with former Republican Congressman Matt Salmon this morning. He was in for Broomhead. And he made this brilliant point that people vote for fighters. All right? Mm-hmm. I took that to mean that we have this innate ability to identify leadership. We see a leader, we know that's a leader, and we want to follow that leader. The trouble, of course, is determining what that leadership looks like and what the candidates are fighting for. So if Andy Biggs comes in, and Andy Biggs is a fighter. I don't think anybody debates that Andy Biggs has got that kind of fighter mentality in politics, right? But is he fighting to continue a system that is, and again, it's not played out, but suppose that the tariffs and everything that we're seeing from Trump right now result in high inflation, high unemployment, and low wages? Who wants that?
Nobody wants that.
So you're going to fight for that?
No.
Right? If Trump's early shakeups turn out to be successful, Biggs is a lock. He's going to look really good. So we'd be getting a fighter who's helping us push the economy forward. But if all of a sudden things start to falter, Biggs looks like the guy who's hitched his wagon to a, how do I mix this metaphor? Sinking ship? Biggs has put his name on the SS Titanic all of a sudden, right? Mm-hmm. And that's where all of a sudden you have said, I'm going full MAGA. If MAGA does great things over the next year and a half, you're a lock. Huge reward. But also, you're allowing for Trump's narrative to determine your race, right?
Yeah. Well, I just think there's a lot of questions, too, on Trump's term limited. There's no question there. But the question is what does he want to accomplish in the last couple years? Is he looking out for him and his interests? Or does he feel like, hey, I want to make MAGA a movement and I want to build my legacy on that? Because if he wants to make it a brand, then I think that does help those who get his endorsement. But if he still makes it about him, then I think all bets are off with all these people who he's endorsed. We've seen the track record of his endorsements. It's okay in the primaries, but in the general elections,
not great.
It's not so great.
Especially in Arizona.
So just because you have that Trump endorsement does not mean that that's going to mean anything when you get to a general. And every day that goes by, we get closer to a day when President Trump's not in office anymore.
It's true.
So what does that mean to an Andy Biggs who could be in office, or a Karen Taylor Robeson who could be in office? You have this endorsement from this guy who's on the sidelines.
That's a great point.
Thanks for watching The Chris and Joe Show. Click to see more from Chris and Joe and tap the button in the middle to subscribe to KTAR News.